I was still driving every day from Harties to Joburg, and when I would have gigs or collabs, I would drive on weekends. So I was perpetually tired, but I did it all in service of my dream. I definitely think that I would have been a full-time photographer if not for COVID. To anyone and everyone watching, just trust your journey, trust the process, and if you stick through it, this life thing can be very beautiful. The day that I came to apply at WITS, the famous fees must fall strike was happening. So they wouldn't even let me walk it in because I don't know, the portal was crashed. Something was off with the portal. So we had to drive from Northwest to here. And the day we got here, they were striking.
Welcome to the Color Space Podcast. My name is Cyril Zuma, and this is a special episode, a very special episode. I've got a very special guest. He's going to introduce himself. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, bro. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. I feel like you and I have known each other for a lot of years. Eh?
Very long on the socials.
Yeah.
I think started following you around COVID, and then we kept in touch here and there.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of the moves, a lot of the progress when you launched Color Space, and
yes.
yeah, it's been a pleasure to watch your journey.
Likewise, bro. Thank you for coming to the episode. I mean, I know a couple of my guests. I know a specific somebody. I won't mention who.
Yes.
I believe you have admirers out there, but so they can't wait to watch this episode. But welcome to the episode, man.
Thank you, bro. Let's make it all go on.
Yeah, for sure. It's chilly outside, right?
It is. You got to take your jacket off. I didn't.
Yeah. So how's life been? In fact, let's start here. How's just work been in general for you?
Work has been interesting.
Okay.
It's very sporadic. I think we're still just trying to find our place after COVID.
Yeah.
You definitely can't take away from, its impact. Sure. So I think everyone is looking for new markets, new ways to do things. And I'm also still finding myself in this new space.
Okay,
yeah.
That's nice to hear. Okay, before we get too far, I'm getting carried away.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself to just the viewers, what you do and who you are.
Okay, so my name is Bokamoso Tlhape. I've been a photographer for about 7 to 8 years. And yeah, I mainly specialize in portraits and events.
Okay, so you've been around for, you say 7 years, right?
7 to 8 years, yeah.
So I'm trying to think, what year was that when you started?
That would be around
2008.
No, man.
It's
2018.
Were you in school in 2008? Okay.
I'm not going to expose which grade. No. Wow.
Are you 2000?
No.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
But I mean, with the kind of experience you have, you're definitely not at 2000.
Yeah.
How has it been in these 7 years just in the photography industry?
Sure. I think the first few years you start off not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you start knowing what you're doing, but you don't know enough. So you seek out the knowledge. And a bit of my background is that I'm from the Northwest province. So there isn't a lot of exposure to this, to photography as a formal industry and as something that you can scale and, say to your family comfortably, I can provide. And I know it's harder to do, but still, I don't think that really exists out there. So it's been a very interesting challenge and journey, but yeah.
Okay. How did it all start for you? Let's start there. I mean, my story into photography, I always tell people my story in photography is blindsidedly, I think it started when I was younger. My mother used to buy me those yellow cameras, those ones, and I had so many, dude. I think in my memory, I have like 200 around me.
This is the disposable ones you never disposed of.
Never disposed of. They were always there.
Right.
So she bought me those cameras quite a lot, and I think it started there, right?
Right.
But obviously, I was way too young to even know what I was doing. But then, later on, she would show me books and books with pictures and words. And she would say to me, it's not about the pictures, but it's about the words kind of thing. And, the story goes on and on. So how did it start for you, even picking up a camera? Because you're saying, family-wise, they also not looking at that as a career. And also another thing, which we'll maybe touch on a little bit later. I mean, you are degreed, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll touch into that, yeah.
So essentially how it started for me, interestingly enough, was somewhat similar to you. So when we would go on holidays, so my dad really believes in trips. Like when my dad is involved, we will drive. So whenever we would go on trips, anywhere and everywhere. So my dad had this Nikon camera, which is just ancient, and he still asks me about like, Fana, have you been able to look through the house? Have you found the camera? And I haven't. Or actually, I found it like 2 years ago, actually, and now I've got it at my flat. But like for a good 10 years, I hadn't seen that camera. But what would happen is when we'd go on family trips, I would then take the photos. And then this one time we went on a particular trip during school holidays, and I came back and showed one of my teachers, and she was like, you have an eye, but I was just like, it looks good, it's mountains. When have mountains look bad?
Yeah.
And then later on, when I got to my second year of varsity, so my dad was like, what do you want for your birthday, Fana? And I was like, Dad, I don't know, to be honest. This was the 1 year I just really didn't know. And he was like, why don't I just get you a camera? And I was like, why not? So that's where we started. And interestingly now, I didn't want to even start taking photos of people. I did not want to take photos of people. But then one of my friends managed to convince me to take some photos of her and her girls for like, so at NWU, these formal events at the end of the year. So each res, each sports code and whatever will have these formal dinners.
Yeah.
And then they had one for their res, and she asked me to shoot that. And that's how I became a portrait photographer.
Who was then, would you say, was the biggest influence in you getting into photography? Because your dad got you a camera,
Yeah.
and your teacher was giving you encouraging words.
Yes.
Are those the two people that encouraged you to take it up as a career, or was it something else?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I would say it's my dad. So my dad has always been like, what do you call this? Like an alternative African dad. My dad handle the business, go to school, do well at school, but outside of the realms of that, as long as it's within good taste, you can do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So, when I would take photos and show my dad, he was like, yo, Fana, that looks good, keep going, My mom was very different. She was like, let's focus on the academics. I'm not hearing this chat with you and your dad. Yeah. So that's basically how I kept going. And then later on, he would then surprise me with my first pro-ish camera.
Okay.
And he was just like, go at it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's what I did.
Okay. So, was he a fan of you making money from it?
You know what? I don't think that was really a part of the equation, because we were still at that point where it was like, you get up, someone's like, hey, I heard you take photos, like, no, whatever you can give me, I'll take.
Yeah.
So it hadn't really fleshed out as a business. But funny enough, later, just after I'd gotten that camera, that's when I decided that, no, I'd be doing a disservice to my family and my dad to just do this for free. And, that also then motivates you back to say, I gotta get better.
Okay.
And yeah.
I love that. Photography is, I say this today, photography is a luxury.
Yeah.
Right? Or for people to hire you, to hire photography, it's a luxury nowadays. We're talking prices of like 3K upwards just to book a photographer for an hour. And that's just maybe starting price,
That's
what
true.
I mean? So it is quite a luxury. And for Black parents to encourage you to do the thing, shout out to them for real.
It wasn't easy, but yeah.
We got there.
We got there.
And can you remember your first gig? When you first got paid?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, when somebody paid you for the first time, whether it was little, but how was it?
So I have to then plug someone also very important in this journey. So Stephen Obi. Yeah. So Stephen and I were in the same varsity at the same time, and everyone would tell me about this amazing photo. Like, if there was a level that you had to get up to locally, it was this guy.
Nice.
So, I didn't even know what he looked like at the time. And then I bumped into him at some point at like a party, and it was hilarious. It was just like, yo, bro, sorry, my name is, have you seen my hand?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're Steve. Oh, you take photos. And then, beautiful friendship was born. So just before my first gig, I was speaking to him, and it was just like, for this girl, just like a normal portrait shoot and stuff. And I was like, I don't know how much I should charge, bro. Do you think like 250 is a lot? And he was like, yeah, you just started, bro. So maybe, just find your feet.
Yeah.
And funny enough, at almost like very important increments of the journey is still there in many ways, and shout out to him.
Shout out to him for real. What did you do with that money?
You know what? I don't remember. It was 250, guys. It wasn't special. Like, I don't even know, bro. It wasn't like I took it and saved it. I can tell you.
And you were a student at this time?
No, for real. I was in second year, and yeah, no, I don't even know what I did with the money.
Okay, fair enough. And so let's go back to the education a little bit.
Right.
What did you study? And was it your choice to study versus going to maybe do something else?
Okay, so I did a BCom marketing undergrad, and then immediately after I did a postgrad diploma in business admin.
Okay.
So I have a very commercial background, and I got into marketing because I couldn't get in for accounting.
Okay.
I had maybe some bad/good luck, because obviously life still turns out okay, where the day that I came to apply at WITS, you know, the famous fees must fall strike was happening. So they wouldn't even let me walk it in, because I don't know, the portal was crashed. Something was off with the portal. So we had to drive from Northwest to here. And the day we got here, they were striking. Yeah. So WITS then fell away. And then at Northwest, Northwest has always been like one of the top 3 universities accounting wise, especially for chartered accounting. Top 3 or top 5, they mustn't kill me. You know,
with the stats,
you get me. But it's very, very good. And I didn't get in. And then, you know, I didn't even think about taking it. So I was just like marketing because, oh, wow. And then that's how I ended up doing marketing. And then, yeah.
Okay, so was it your choice to study marketing, or
No.
would you have wanted to study something else?
No, I think if I had it my way, I would have done accounting. But then I had the choice to do accounting after the first year. But then, what I was doing because first year, we were all in the same faculty, right? So whether you're doing entrepreneurship, business management, marketing, we share a lot of core modules, right? And then we'll go off to accounting and whatever your specialist is, your specialization is. So what I saw it do to my friends and people around me, I was just like, I'm fine here, you know.
Not for you.
Because they would also, if you don't meet the standard, if you're not doing well for accounting, then they just put you down towards financial accounting, which is just chilled and more watered down. And then after that, below that, I think it's bookkeeping. So you just keep going down. So a lot of people go out of CA, and I'm like, yo, no, I'm fine. Hey,
you don't want that.
I don't want that.
Fair enough. I mean, are you still going to continue to study?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, you know, sorry to answer the second part of your question. I definitely think that I would have been a full-time photographer if not for COVID. So after I finished studying, I did that postgrad diploma in business admin because I didn't feel like I was ready for the world, to be very honest. I didn't do it benevolently because I was like, you know, but I just did it because I felt like I wasn't ready for the world.
Yeah.
So I just did another qualification to stay in university. After I was done with that, I was like, I've got my mindset on this photography thing. It's 2019, it's grad season, I'm killing it. COVID.
Hey.
Then after that, you know, you're home for a while. The creative industry took a while to come back because I felt like everything was at its peak, you know, just before then. I mean, you know, Brum culture was still a thing. People were still doing street photography. Like everyone was outside and like photographers were okay.
We all had 50 meals.
You know?
It was nice times, yeah.
Then COVID happened, and then after that, you know, it was really hard to get gigs. And then I also needed a way to get to Joburg because I was still in the Northwest. And then, you know, things just happened and my mom was just like, nah, bro, you have to come home. So I couldn't even stay in Potch at university anymore. She was like, nah, bro, you gotta come back home.
Sure.
This isn't sustainable. Yeah. And I did. And then I stayed at home for like a year. And then, you know, I got the opportunity to start a job, which is what I do now. Which got me to Joburg. But even before then, I was still driving every day from Harties to Joburg. And when I would have gigs or collabs, I would drive on weekends. So I was perpetually tired. But I did it all in service of my dream.
For sure.
Know? So I don't regret any part of that journey.
I love that, man. I mean, like we said, photography is a luxury. Doing photography is kind of a luxury. And like, you know, to get booked you have to stand out
You
to
have
some
to.
degree. So shout out to Steven also for putting you on and giving you that first money and saying, yo, you can do this. And obviously to your parents and teachers.
Yeah.
And now that we're here now that you do photography and you're doing work on the side,
Yes.
right? Or not, maybe photography on the side. Which one is it?
It's work mainly, the
Yeah.
photography on the side.
Okay, so how is the balance between the two? I mean, I know quite a few people who
Yes.
are very much, in fact, I believe everybody is creative
Yeah,
to some degree.
absolutely.
And they just maybe, stuck at a certain stage in their
Yeah.
lives. Maybe not call it stuck. They
Yeah.
in between these two. They're
Yeah,
working and they're also doing some creativity.
Yeah.
But they want to break out out of the two. How is the balance anyway for you, just generally?
So for me, it's a lot. It goes up and down. And to compound that, I'm still studying. So it's definitely not the easiest balance. But I've always so a lot of people also ask me, because I do have peers and friends that sometimes do worry. And I told them that I'm really happy. I really feel fulfilled in what I do. So it doesn't feel like I'm really giving up that, because I don't have a crazy social life and stuff like that, which is okay. Because I really do feel like I'm really pursuing what I want to. But in terms of the balance, it gets very, very hectic. Some days I can't be on the phone, attend to everything and attend to everyone. And I think that's a good and a bad thing, because when I started working formally, one of the biggest favors it did me was you can't pay attention to everything and everyone anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to choose who your people are, who your friends are. You have to really guide that energy. And I think it helps curb some nonsense out of your life. So, yeah.
I love that. And so what's next for you in this space, the photography space?
So I think next up on my journey is something that I have been needing to do, but I've never really wanted it to do, because I find a freedom in photography, but I do definitely think that I have enough knowledge and skill to take it more seriously as a business, and from a business perspective, make it very a lot stronger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's my next step. There's a lot I have a very commercial background, even though I'm in slightly a different field. But I definitely do think that that's where this next part of the journey takes me, is to say, how good can this thing be? And for me, it's like a patch of honor also, low key, because you'll be imparting so much of what you know into this thing, and let's see how strong it can become.
For sure, yeah. Shout out to that. I hope it really goes well. I mean,
Thank you.
It is quite a leap.
It is.
I remember myself doing the leap a few years later on, and it's like, do you really want it? And sometimes the money can be more, but you're asking yourself, how long can this go on for? There's a lot of questions that go through, but
Exactly.
I'm sure it will go well. Your work speaks for itself.
Thank you,
for those that don't know, make sure that you check out his socials. We'll put them in the description.
Thank you,
just to see the work and what he does, and make sure that you follow the guy on Instagram. I mean, this is he's not here. In fact, you're not here because you're just an average person. In fact, I always say this to my guests. This is like physical flowers that we're giving to you.
Thank you.
I've been watching your journey for quite some time. We've been following each other, interacting with one another, whether it's not photography or something else. And I just love the way that you take pictures and videos of cars now. What got you into that? Because, man, they're looking beautiful.
So, cars and food, man. As of late, cars and food, it just happens. Sometimes you just have this picture in your mind that, it's like an itch you can't, until I take it from this angle with this lens. And I feel like people don't understand these maths going on. If I take it with a 50, this is a low car. So, and I'm over it. It's not going to look flattering. How do I make it grandiose?
For sure.
So sometimes when I do have my shoots, I'll also use it just to also scratch some of those creative itches and say to, my clients, hey, would you like me to take a picture of the car, or you with the car? So yeah, man, it's I don't know if it's because I'm also turning into a car guy now, and I'm like, yo, I see that, because recently I also saw the Golf 8, guys. That 8R is such a beautiful car.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Have you just driven it?
One day I'm gonna walk into VW with that aura, like, yo, can I just shout that? I have to.
Nice.
So yeah, no, I haven't test driven it yet, but soon, and God willing, one day have it in my. I don't have a car collection yet, but in a car collection one day.
For sure.
Yeah.
It is a very beautiful car. And the way you tell stories with cars has been interesting. I mean, you've partnered up with some very influential people too in the car space. How is that if I want to, if somebody else and myself, maybe I want to partner up with somebody in the car space, how would I even go about that?
So I think when you do that, like you always have to, if they don't reach out and you want to reach out, make sure that you're very clear about what you're offering. Make sure that you're very set on the parameters of what you want to happen, and it's up to them to accept or not.
Sure.
But I do think that, like you mentioned, photography is a luxury.
Yeah.
So whenever you offer a luxury, not a lot of people are going to turn it down.
Yeah.
It's just about channeling that in the right way, that they would like their cars and their businesses, if it's businesses to be represented, that you bring that as well and make sure you get that done.
Lovely advice. I mean, a lot of people are starting car YouTube channels or shows or anything like that. And, maybe somebody's really good at what they do and they want to tap in there. So shout out for that advice for anybody who wants to get in there. All right. So now we've talked a little bit about, where you started, where you are now. We also did touch a little bit on where you are going in the future. What does the next 2 years look like for you? I know that we talked about, the bigger goal is to ideally turn the photography business and you do it full time. What does the 2 years look like for you?
So hopefully looking to get back into events. Events, festivals and events are my first love, sort of,
Okay.
I've taken so many beautiful and unique moments that, quite honestly, I really feel like as a photographer taking those images, no one can take away from you. I mean, and you'll feel the connection, because sometimes you look at images of the likes of Hugh Masekela and them from the 80s, 60s, 70s, and I immediately want to look for that photographer. I'm like, who's this guy? Is he still alive? Could I bump into him somewhere?
For sure, yeah.
Because you don't know how big someone's story will become, and it's so nice having your images be a part of someone's story. Whether they're on the come up, whether they're at their peak, whether it's a moment of vulnerability. And that's the space that I would really love to get back in. So not necessarily for events' sake, but from more of a documentary standpoint, that, we'll look back 10 years from now like, yo, this actually happened, and we were blessed with such unique creative artists in South Africa, and there's nothing like it, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we do have amazing artists. And when you do look back at the old work of Hugh Masekela, when seeing him on stage, whatever. And there's another guy, man, I'm trying to forget his name, a veteran. But anyway, these veteran photographers have got amazing stuff in the archives.
They do.
And for them, it was on the time that they grew up, and it required that they document the kind of stuff, documentary kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so you did quite a few categories in photography.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Like one where you wake up and you're like, I would do this every day.
Literally. If they weren't so chaotic events, bro. Like the thing about events is that you can be as professional as you want to be, but you're working with artists, you're working with teams. Someone is late because the bus driver took a wrong turn. Now you're at a gig 2 hours longer. But no, definitely, bro, events. Because I get to also bring that unique perspective of portraiture in. Okay. So in a way, you're taking live portraits, you're taking portraits that are very genuine. And I think with a lot of artists, especially the era that we're in with social media, everything being so composed, everything being so contemplated, we've put a lot of thought. It's so nice just seeing artists break out into their and it doesn't matter how big, that's what I'm saying. We have such unique artists. I mean, we have Tyler. Every other week, she says something funny. She says something only South Africans can relate with or relate to. So I love that, bro. I live for moments like that.
Events. I mean, I don't want to ask how old you are, but you're probably gonna get tired of standing at some points.
I probably yeah?
You're gonna get tired of standing at some points. I mean, events are like long, you know.
They are, but like the images are their own reward, bro.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about a funny moment. So at Afropunk, which is now like a good 6 years ago, I think it was 2019, the last one.
Yeah, the last one. Yeah.
So I was so excited because remember that was where photographers all win. It's like the battle of the portrait. Who is going to have those 3 bangers that the whole Twitter, the whole South Africa is talking about? So I'm like, this year put me in, you know. So I went there and I actually bumped into another really great photographer, Itu.
Okay.
So Itu, I don't even see him. He's like, oh, I know this photographer. He's from the farms, ne? So I'm like, only one guy would say
such things.
Because he comes up with these stories that we heard cows and stuff, you know. And I'm like, Chip, I've seen so don't like.
Don't come here like
Don't come here. So he guided me through it, and just because I was very like, no, because I'm not from Joburg. I don't know, because you know, Joburg people can be very, you know,
stuck up nyana.
You get nyana food.
Okay, food.
So I was just like, yo, how do I? He's like, nah, bro, you've got the camera. Like, you can go. So I did. I got some amazing portraits, but that was during the day. So at night, I was waiting for Solange. Because they were like a good 2-3 years that Solange just couldn't make it and stuff. So eventually she gets on stage, and this is after Masiho. So what happened was, like, they were performing on 2 different stages.
Okay.
So when Masiho wrapped up, she goes on the other stage.
And so, everybody shifts there.
Exactly. But the people who are like diehards are already there.
Okay.
They're like, nah, you guys can have Masiho. We're front row.
We're waiting.
So I had to figure out a way, and luckily I had a 70-200.
Okay.
So I've got this on my camera, and it's heavy, bro. But in front of me, there's a guy with the cheese cup who keeps jumping. So I'm like, bro, I'm trying to take snaps. Like, please stop. And for some odd reason, we didn't fight. But I was just like, yo, bro, if you keep jumping, I'm going to rest this lens on you. And I did. I was shooting one-handed from the back. And he just, I don't know, it just worked out, bro, you know. But crazy, man. And that can only happen at an event. But you're right. So then, to make sure that everything was okay and I knew the game, you get home, you have to edit because everyone wants it. Like, people are going to forget about you. If you take a day or 2, people are going to forget.
Oh, yeah.
So I got home at like 3 a.m., started editing, finished at 5, got photos to people. I was like, yo, just send me a DM on Instagram. I'll know who you are. I'll remember what you were wearing.
Oh, yeah.
And I did a good job for the most part, sent everyone their links, posted the pictures, and yeah. That was like so fun and so improvised.
Love that moment. I mean, you mentioned Wadi Nepe, who's also a great photographer. He's been around for quite some time.
Yeah, Soweto has cows, bro.
Soweto has cows. Him and I shot there once too, in the hills.
You need to know. I hope you watch this.
But a couple of more questions for me before we wrap up.
Definitely.
What are the frustrations for you in the photography industry that you've come across? And perhaps, you know, if you maybe 1 or 2.
I think so. The biggest one by far is time, and then that leads to the second one that is also about how you go about managing yourself and why that's a frustration. So first one, time. Clients are always late, guys.
You're always.
But God forbid the one time you're late. God forbid
you can never be late.
I remember getting grilled by this graduate's dad. And I was like 10, 15 minutes late. It was still like early in the career and journey, but this is definitely one of those moments that straightens you out. So I had an issue with my memory cards. You know, I hope everyone has that moment of growth where 2 of my 3 memory cards were not working. And he's like, is this what we're paying for?
Yeah.
Like, and worst one, like, I'm like, true. And it cuts different when old timers are, and he's looking, his eyes are not moving.
Yeah. It's straight
like,
at you.
Like, literally, he's like, I'm gonna figure out a plan or Razama.
Yo. And now are you at the varsity now?
I'm literally, I'm there, we're in front of the hole and I'm having issues. So found one of my friends, had an extra memory card, like just because it's grad season, there's everyone around. So thank God that worked out. But yeah, scary moment, but yeah, time and time management. But where it leads into my second frustration is, like I said, like the business element of things, which is how do we share the risk, right? If I'm late, this is what happens. If you're late, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And you find sometimes that clients aren't really willing to come to the table. You know, I was emotionally blackmailed a few years ago. There was a mom who was running around doing everything instead of taking pictures with her daughter. And she was like, and I was like, listen, I've been here for 2.5 hours. I was supposed to be here for an hour. I have to go. She starts bawling like, you don't understand. It's just me. I'm doing this and that. Yo, guys, I was just like, yeah, no.
And so you had to be the emotional carrier too.
Yeah. What should have been an hour shoot turned into a 4-hour shoot because after I took photos of them, I had to take photos of her daughter entering at the matric, and no one ever wants to go first at matric entrances. So there I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
We need to have a discussion, or maybe a roundtable discussion around this, because I feel like it's a frustration for everybody. A lot of clients, some clients in fact, do take that advantage. But I think it's important, like you said, that grew you quite a lot. That punched you in the face. You're like, whoa, okay. I need to make sure I get my things right. I think it's important for us to always be there on time and find ways to charge extra. I mean, I guess, now that you are experienced in the industry, there's no playing with that anymore.
No,
if it's extra, man, you got to pay,
Whether you have to tell a little white lie that you have a shoot in the east, we're in the east, in Benoni, like it must be far, whether you have to do that or just say, I'm going to charge you, like do what you have to do, because I've really learned that like you can't get that time back. And sometimes like the older that we get, like this thing is a balance, right? So you're taking time away from your friends, away from your other pursuits that you shouldn't be taking away from. And sometimes there's really no catching that up. The moments are gone, they've passed. Whether you've missed the first hour of your friend's birthday, you've missed an hour of studying. And the one thing that you can never plan for is how you feel after these things. Like you'll get there like, I know I'm supposed to send emails, but now I'm so tired.
Really tired.
Then your clients call you in the morning like, well, now you don't want money. You're like, oh. And you can't even explain why, because it's really low-key your fault if you're taking accountability for it.
Sure. This has been a great conversation, man. I feel like part 2 is needed.
It really is.
It really is needed.
And then I can ask you some questions.
Look, I'm going to give you a chance for that. I have one more. I have one more question. Cool. One more question on my side. Who or what inspires you generally, just waking up in the morning, and besides outside of photography, just general things that inspire you?
Truly and honestly, my daughter. I don't think as a man you can ever be ready for that kind of the weight of that responsibility. But at the same time, when you see what you're able to do for her, all in the name of love, I think that just shows you anything is possible. And between the balancing of this and that, I always keep that on my core that, this is literally for her. This is for the legacy that I leave to her, and when I have other kids, same for them.
I love that, and I hope she watches this in 20 years' time. I don't know when she's legal to watch it.
she's a sassy girl, so I'm sure she'll appreciate it though.
Love that.
Yeah.
I lied. I always say, they say photographers lie a lot.
One more
shot. Right. And it's never one more shot. Right. But do you have any questions on your side? Things that perhaps I should have asked you that you're probably thinking, this guy should have asked me this.
That you should have asked me.
Or anything that you probably would like to add.
I think when you have time, and I know every time you pop out on Twitter and you say something, everyone buys in, and I just don't think we can get enough of like sharing knowledge and stuff like that, because I think what's really happened in the industry as of late is that the likes of you guys, Austin's, shucks, I forgot the other gents. Cedric.
Yeah.
You guys have transitioned so far into business and formalizing things. So I feel like we don't get to see the process anymore. We don't get to see where you guys are per se. And I'm not saying that everyone under the sun will appreciate it, but I do think that it could change a few people's lives if we just have those, even if it's like 30 minutes, just drop knowledge nyana, we speak nyana, you call it a day. So for me, that's like my only thing that I really hope that you guys, and if they ever get to see this, you guys as well, just do it, because I think all of you are in such different spheres, and that's actually something that I wrote down. You guys are actually in such different spheres of having your photography turn into businesses. You know, you've got your stock website. Cedric has always been very creative, very maverick-like. Austin has felt very, like, if there's one, Austin knows where the business is. Like, you get that feeling. Like, I remember a few years ago when he launched his studio, and his studio had like Instagram, but you couldn't tell. And then years later, I'm like, oh, it's you, but this is business.
Something else, yeah.
You know, so I think that would definitely make a big contribution to a lot of people.
For sure. I mean, I'm hoping, you know, podcasts like this or conversations like this more than anything do that, and where we can, you know, impart some knowledge, and for me to also learn quite a bit. But I remember that time, you know, on Twitter, when Twitter was Twitter, we should drop threads.
Exactly.
It used to be dope. I mean, look, I do appreciate the fact that you recognize that was something that was important and still is important. I'm getting the sense though that, you know, the newer kids, I feel like they know everything, and there is sort of access to information for them. So, you know, and they perhaps don't want to know from old airheads like us. Maybe you might not be.
You know what, bro? I think the younger kids are like very temperamental also about how they get told things. You know, they don't want to get told because they're young.
Sure.
And I think if we take the approach to teach people for the sake of teaching, not because you're young, hey, we're old and all of that. I just have knowledge that I'm trying to give to you. For sure. If you want it, you want it. If you don't appreciate it, it's all okay. But I do think that it's going to be very important, because I think there's a lot of photographers that are really getting into the business now that are so talented, but you know what's going to happen. You're probably going to be taken advantage of. I mean, so many photographers leave photography because it's not yielding a living, it's not yielding results. So we really want to keep our best talent. Trust me, guys. We have so many stories to tell, whether it's from any point of view in life, you know, whether it's Kasi, whether it's in the suburbs, it's portraiture, it's studio, it's this and that, guys. We really need our photographers around. For
sure. We definitely need to document a lot of our stuff.
I suck at that.
Says a photographer.
Hey, we don't like documenting ourselves, but we'll document
everything else. Yeah. I mean, look, this has been an amazing conversation. I didn't even have to open my book for questions. I feel like you and I have literally just
even me, my eyes still closed.
So it's been a great chat. I mean, I hope part 2 again comes through. But we'll put your social links in the description. And I mean, any last words that you want to have, or that you have rather?
Last words. I think to anyone and everyone watching, just trust your journey, trust the process, and if you stick through it, this life thing can be very beautiful.
Love that so much. Wow. I was going to ask you something else also, but I love that the way that you just ended it like that. So thank you so much for coming to the episode, bro. It's been absolutely amazing.
Nothing but a pleasure.
For sure. I do hope part 2 happens, and this is possibly next year. I hope part 2 happens. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about by then.
It might even be longer.
It might be longer, right? Especially your car journey, you getting into more events photography, you perhaps turning, quitting everything else and coming straight into photography. Definitely. So I hope that all happens, brother.
Definitely. Thank you, bro.
For sure. Thank you guys for watching. It has been amazing. Peace.